Alisal High School in Salinas, California, was the scene of a small revolution this year. 95% of the student population is Hispanic, the majority of the families migrant workers. The average family income is in the lowest percentile in the state. The school has a dropout rate of approximately 50%. Yet 83 of the 225 seniors in this year's class have been accepted in major colleges and universities all over the country, including Harvard, Princeton, Yale, Williams, Bard, Brown, Cornell, Carleton, Columbia, McAllister, Wabash, and all the UC campuses and the University of Southern California. This is the story of a few of those students, how they did it, and what they expect in their new future. One teacher and a senior counselor made the difference. Government teacher George Shirley decided to give his senior students a real-life experience in the opportunities of democracy.
I made an assignment to all the college prep government classes that I had in the first week of school, requiring that as a homework assignment that they write off to 10 colleges, get letters of application, and then send, after they sent off for those, we would work on them in classes. So it really was a determination to expose as many of them as we could. Now, many of these students would have done that on their own. I want you understanding that. It was trying to broaden the types of schools that individual students would have applied to on one hand, on the other hand, to try to reach more students that possibly wouldn't have made up their mind to try for a four-year college.
He told me, as he told many of our students, that we weren't limited just to California colleges. We could apply elsewhere with having some chance of being accepted.
We all knew we were going to college. We had that idea in our minds already. But we didn't know we wanted to go so far away.
I never heard about Wabash. I had no information about East Coast colleges at all, much less Williams.
We were kind of worried that we were going to go alone. So we thought it over, and we agreed that if one of us was accepted, not the other one, we were going to go anyways. So now we're both selected, we got to go.
I'll grow a lot in terms of how can you say, relating to the mainstream, and just socializing with a whole new different environment.
Ever since one of my representatives from Princeton gave a presentation, I fell in love with the school. And after I saw the presentation, I said, well, that's my school. And I don't know, I left my heart there, and that's where I've always wanted to go.
Some students targeted four-year colleges in California.
North to UC Berkeley, Cal State Fullerton, all the way to Sacramento, Cal State Sacramento. We go down to Stanford, Cal Poly.
Going to Stanford is something I've wanted to do since elementary school.
My longtime dream is to become a professional baseball player, and USC has, of course, one of the best baseball programs in the state.
The state of California is probably the nicest place to live anyway.
Wherever they are going, Alisal students hope an excellent college education will bring personal success and advance their families.
I hope I receive many opportunities, many doors will open to me, and so I can keep on and just help my family.
I want to go into politics, so hopefully it'll help. I want to come back here and go work at Sacramento or run for higher office.
I want it to be a stepping stone onto something greater, because I do expect it for my studies to go on for years and years to come, because I eventually want to get a PhD in archaeology.
I'll be majoring in industrial and labor relations.
Or I'm the first kid who's applied to one of these major colleges and never had a chance. And when I applied, and we were all sweating it out at home, will I get in, will I get in? And when I got the letter from Phil Smith, the whole family was just like, in unison, we all jumped up for joy and and it was very exciting, and everybody was so excited. And
Apply. You'll never know unless you apply. If you don't apply, for sure you're not going to get in. But if you apply, at least you have a chance.
Initially, money seems an overwhelming barrier to these students' hopes to attend a well-known four-year college until they understand their good chances for substantial aid.
There's no way my family could afford to, and I didn't know there was out scholarships or financial aid. It's scary to go off to college, I guess. It's leaving home and stuff, and it's just like, it's rare, I guess. It's unusual for you to do that. It's like your family expects you to, just get a job and help out with the family.
They could help out with some, but I don't like taking their money.
It's like they can barely make it by themselves, right? So it's another burden on them, and I really didn't want to put that either. I can't do that to them.
Afterwards, I found out, through teachers and stuff, that there's money out there for you to go, and you could do it. It's just a matter of wanting to, and once you get those fears out, I guess I started thinking about it more and wanting to go more, and I guess everything just kind of worked out.
The colleges have been wonderful, and that's the point I think I want to make to anybody who's looking at trying to work with students. They'll find that the colleges really want qualified minorities and want to give them a chance at the better education that's available in this country.
They're spectacular down at Williams for what they provided for me. I send them my financial situation, and they're really understanding about it.
They fix you up so that they meet your 100% needs through loans, grants, work-study programs, and summer earnings, so everything is working out financially.
My family has to come up with approximately $1,000 as their portion of my tuition, and we're doing it through the Cornell installment plan where my parents can pay $100 each month and take care of it that way. And then I'm responsible for $1,000, supposedly for my summer earnings, and Cornell's paying for the rest.
These students have learned that small private colleges can often provide more scholarship aid than large public universities, and that summer earnings can fulfill the student's financial responsibility.
First of all, I've always worked in the field. I've been working in the field since I was 8 years old, and so this is not new to me. My parents used to be migrant farm workers, and I always used to go to work. Okay, now I'm working strawberries and picking berries, and it's a very hard job, but it's quite good. You receive quite a bit of money, and that's the only way I'm affording tuition.
Besides money, the children of farm workers face other problems in applying to colleges.
The problem of illegals. Many of our students are illegal, and in the past have been afraid to apply to college. Never occurred to many of them, just simply because they live in the constant fear of the migra and being picked up. There really isn't a problem with the school, and we did that on an individual basis. Most of the universities, that did not make a difference, and they were able to get financial aid.
Another challenge for primarily Spanish-speaking students is the Scholastic Aptitude Test, the SAT, a requirement of most competitive colleges and universities as an indicator of college performance.
Overall, when you have a school that is 95% minority, 70% limited English proficiency, it's very difficult for them to hear in their English classes, in any of the classes, the words in context, to develop the vocabulary, to develop the substantive knowledge that will score well on the SAT scores. And with that kind of a background, we've had to try to overcome that and try explaining both to the students and to the universities.
Our SAT scores weren't that great, right? So they were probably concerned about, well, look at this kid, he only has a 400, the verbal part or the math. And what they did was just, well, yes, they have the score, but they're good students,
There's a group here on campus that I guess we're called the doers. We work at night, we go out for sports, we get the good grades.
I know I can make it in the classroom.
Previous Alisal students have succeeded in college.
One of those ended up at Columbia University, and the other is at Williams College, and they've done very well. They've been B-plus students, Dean's List. And their success not only convinced some of the colleges that it was possible, but convinced me, and I think a lot of the other members of our faculty, that that our students, if we could convince the universities that the SAT scores were somewhat of an aberration, because in a sense our students are really foreign students.
My parents had come from a different background. You know, my friend, his mother went to Harvard. See, so my parents are farm workers, so you cannot really compare the backgrounds we have. Okay, but that should encourage us to work twice as hard.
What they would be able to accomplish in 2 hours would take me maybe 4 hours to do. So I ended up getting up at least at 6 o'clock, getting ready for school, to 8 o'clock class, do some studying before I went to class, reviewing. I would get out of class maybe 1, 2 o'clock, relax for a little while, possibly eat sometimes, and then hit the books, and go till maybe 6, eat again, and then study till maybe 2 at night.
It's not impossible. It's, you know, there's so much help out there. There's tutors and everything. All you gotta have is determination. And once you get into it, there's no way, nothing can stop you.
These students are smart enough. The language barriers will dissolve of their own accord because these students want to succeed.
They all met the minimal qualifications. Nobody is getting into Harvard or Princeton or Williams because they're minority.
Even when students are qualified and motivated, getting into competitive colleges is a complex process of discovering choices, filling many applications, writing several personal essays, meeting deadlines, and completing financial aid forms. To sustain the long effort, students need one-on-one support from teachers and counselors.
It almost has to be one-on-one. There are a lot of problems with the essays that each of the colleges required, and we worked with them on that, trying to get them to talk very openly and frankly and emotionally about the difficulties of their lives and what they hope to accomplish, the problems that they had overcome. Most of these students work 30, 40 hours a week. Most of their families, their parents, do not speak English. The kids function as their chauffeurs, their bookkeepers. They write the checks for the family. They pay the bills. Their money that they make is very important to the family income. The students have to work.
He helped. He pushed. It's always a struggle to try and put your whole life down in 2 pages. But it was just a process of writing and rewriting, and he would look at it and make suggestions, and we'd make changes and rewrite it, and then we'd look at it again and make more suggestions, and we just keep rewriting until we got what we thought was the best we could do, and then we'd send it in. He was always there for us. We could call him on the phone, and he'd leave numbers where we could get a hold of him. He was just always there for us.
Now that they have been accepted, minority students at Alisal believe they can make a unique contribution to what they call the mainstream population in their colleges.
It will be seeing someone else's point of view.
The little Mexican kid from the east side.
I can maybe give him a little taste of what it's like on the other side of the country, not to mention the other side of the tracks.
I feel that we're brought into the university so that Anglo kids can get a look at us, because they will be seeing us more, especially here in California. They have 40% is Mexican, 40% is Hispanic. So it's obvious that they need to be in contact with Hispanics. So I feel that they're doing it for their benefit. But at the same time, we're getting the benefit out of it too, because we're also in contact with them.
The social issues, I think, are pretty obvious. If we can't turn it around, we have a state where 40% of the kids entering kindergarten this fall are Hispanic, and very soon this will be a majority Hispanic state. And by the latest statistics, some 4.2% of our Hispanic kids are going on to 4-year colleges. Nobody even knows how many are actually graduating. When half our labor force in 10 years is going to not have college degrees, not have any college at all, what that means, forgetting the racism, the prejudice, and the morality of it, whether it's right or wrong. If we can't turn that around, it foretells economic doom for the state.
And how do families feel about sending their sons and daughters all over the country for their education? The Serrano family has one son in Dartmouth Medical School, a daughter who graduated from Princeton, now attending Harvard Law School, and Humberto, presently at Columbia University, all graduates of Alisal High School.
Me sentí muy triste. She felt very sad.
pero a la vez contenta,
But at the same time, she was happy
porque ellos iban a avanzar un día en sus estudios
because someday we were going to advance somewhere in our studies.
y si se hubieran quedado conmigo, ellos no aprenderían nada.
And if they had stayed with me, they wouldn't have learned much.
Y me siento contenta y orgullosa porque ellos se han hecho fuertes solos.
And I feel very proud and very happy that they have become strong on their own.
Porque yo nunca fui a la escuela.
Because I never went to school.
En el lugar donde yo me crié no hubo escuelas.
Where I grew up, there weren't any schools.
Pero a la vez yo quiero que ellos estudien.
But at the same time, I want them to study, and I have always encouraged them to study.
Y les he prometido que mientras de que yo pueda trabajar, cuando a ellos les falte algo, los he de ayudar.
And she has promised us that whenever, as long as she keeps working, whenever we need something, she will help us.
We have got to find somehow, some way of reaching those kids. I think it's one of the most important issues facing the people of California, and it's got to be done. It's got to be started soon.